This video is going to go over soldering jump rings for a chain. First, let's talk about how this works. After you have all your jump rings cut, lay them out and take every fourth jump ring out. These will be soldered with hard. Since hard has more silver and less zinc, it has the highest melting point. This is important when you have multiple joins. Next, you will solder jump rings onto your previously soldered rings with medium. Medium has a lower melting point, meaning it will flow before the hard solder remelts. Finally, you will take your sets of 3 jump rings that you soldered with medium and hard and connect them with a ring that is soldered with easy. Easy has the lowest melting point. If you would use a different solder, your old joins will flow and either open up or get stuck to another ring. Okay, so let's go over how this is done. First, you could set up each ring like this, with the solder under the join, but I find this difficult and kind of annoying. I use pick soldering, which utilizes the soldering pick to hold a small ball of solder, which is applied to the join when it reaches temperature. Here are my 3 jump rings that I'm going to solder with hard solder. All the joins are facing me. So now you add this hard solder off to the side to make it easier to pick up with your soldering pick. And paint flux on all of the joins. Flux helps keep your metal from oxidizing and becoming dirty. Solder only flows onto clean, hot metal. Turn on your torch and heat your solder to turn it into little balls. As it cools, grab one of these with your pick. Heat ring 1 and apply the solder when the flux clears. Follow the same process for all the other rings. The solder should flow over and fill the seam. Once each ring is soldered, put them in the pickle to get clean. For the next step, close 2 jump rings on each soldered ring. Make sure there is not a gap in your seam. Lay them out so it's easy to find the seam. Flux each seam. We are now going to use medium solder. Follow the same process for pick soldering we used previously. Do not heat your metal too far or your hard solder seams will open and stick to the medium solder rings. When you have finished sets of 3, put them in the pickle so that it becomes clean. You may still notice some fire scale. There is a way of polishing to get rid of that. Finally, use a new ring to connect 2 sets of 3 and close it. And pick solder this ring. It is a little more difficult to set up because you're working with more jump rings. You're going to use easy solder for this. Remember, it has the lowest melting point. And don't forget to flux your ring so that it stays clean while you are trying to solder. You want to go through the normal process of pick soldering. Sometimes it is a little bit more difficult to pick up solder on the end of your soldering pick. You just have to keep trying and don't get frustrated. Just stay patient. Jump rings can be a wonderful experience, but it can also be sometimes frustrating. I like to think of it as a puzzle that needs to be solved. Thanks for watching, and I hope that this helped you understand how to solder jump rings.